Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Omega, for that introduction. Thank you for having us. We're happy to be here and to share a bit of our story. Um, as mentioned, our names are Jermaine. I'm Jermaine, she's Aisha. We've been married for 12 years, and we are the proud owners of Long Bay Express Fuel Services. And we I'm going to talk a bit about how we got started and our why, because we believe that each entrepreneur, each business owner, especially as couples, we need to share a why. Why did we get into the business? So our why actually started with a personal need that we had ourselves, where once we moved into the Long Bay community around 2010, there was one night when our young son at the time, he developed a temperature, and we actually simply needed some fever meds to treat him, to try to help him to get better. And because of the hour, all of the supermarkets at that time had been closed. And, like we often say around here, wow, someone should open a business or start something where, someone can go later at nights and get some convenient items that are needed. And really and truly, that was where our thought came from. And so Aisha and I put our heads together at the time. At the time, the Long Bay community was also just in its earlier development stages. And we had moved here. And so we decided, you know what, why not us? Why not come up with something where we can offer the community some services? So we originally thought about a convenience store. And then we had to find something that would complement a convenience store. And pretty much that was where our thought for Long Bay Express came from. So that was pretty much our why we got started. So firstly, we're going to talk about the advantages of doing business together. You can move to the next slide, please. The advantages of doing business together.
Good morning, everyone. So one of the advantages of doing business together is that you would have established trust. And you see that we have here from courtship to corporation. And for us, that established trust would have started 5 years before we actually got into business together. So we started off as friends, and then he courted me. We eventually got married. We had our first child. And then we built our first home together. And over those life experiences, we were able to establish trust, and we were able to prove our trust in each other, that we had each other's backs, and that there was nothing that we would do to harm each other or what we have built together. So for us, it was then easy to transfer that established trust into a business. And when you are doing a business with a partner, it is very important to have that trust.
Absolutely. And, generally, as a couple, we want what's best for each other. So we knew that we had each other's back, because what's best for her is best for me, and it's best for all of us.
Yes.
The next point that we wanted to make was an unlimited opportunities for communication.
So for us, we have here unlimited opportunities for communication. When you're in business with your life partner, you do have that unlimited opportunity for communication. We have here strategize, even during pillow talk. So for us, communication is like oxygen. We talk about everything, and it's very important. And it allows for quicker decision making, quicker problem solving. We can at any time, if we have an idea, quickly talk about it, and we're able to develop it in a quick, period of time.
It doesn't necessarily have to wait until next day or 8 a.m. the next day, or to set a meeting time. We can capitalize on that time together and make quick and timely decisions when necessary.
Yeah. So we're able to, I like to think that as I look back, actually, I think that some of our best ideas have come up at midnight, us just lying down in bed and just talking. So that is one of the benefits, or one of the advantages that we have of, doing business and being married, or being in a relationship.
Absolutely.
Next is we identified the merger of skills and resources. And we are saying here that 2 heads and 2 wallets are better than one. So we both have different skill sets and different strengths, and we've been able to bring those or marry those strengths and those skill sets together to for the benefit of both our personal relationship as well as our business relationship. Even when we're talking about resources, if two persons are able to bring their resources together, that improves on your borrowing power as well as your negotiating power.
Absolutely. I consider myself to be more of a risk taker, and Aisha is actually more of a risk assessor. It's simply because she has a background in finance and accounting and audit. So, whenever I come to her with my off-the-wall ideas, sometimes, we can sit down, we negotiate, and we decide this may be best or this may not, this may not be the best thing right now. But they really do complement one another. And like Aisha mentioned earlier, sharing, a wallet or having two wallets is, it really gives us much negotiating power and opportunities, So next slide, please. So very quickly, we're going to go down to a few lessons that we have found it worked for us, and we thought that it was worth sharing with everyone. The first one is communication.
So just as in your personal relationship, in a business relationship, communication, again, is very important. And it can actually be the difference, make the difference between a flourishing personal and business relationship or a failed one. So it's important for the communication to be honest, to be open and timely or early. You shouldn't allow issues to fester and boil up, to the point where one day it eventually explodes. And it's important to celebrate your wins together. Assess what did you do well together and how you can capitalize on that, as well as to talk about the failures and the things that you did not do so well and how you learned from it. Can you press enter one more time for us, please? Two more times, maybe. Yes.
Perfect. And the next point is to separate business and personal finances. Our ultimate goal is to grow the business to ensure that it thrives. And we want to set an example for our children and ultimately our community. So what we try to be as disciplined as possible. Earlier, Walter in his presentation mentioned discipline. And we don't want to do anything to take advantage of the business finances simply because we are the owners or because we have access to those finances. And this helps us to develop our discipline in growing the business. As Walter mentioned, discipline is simply something that you need to do to be successful, even when you may not feel like doing it. So what as Omega mentioned earlier, we do hold full-time jobs, and we do our best to ensure that we use what happens with our jobs and our business separately. We really treat our business venture as is if it is not ours. I mean, as simple as pulling up to the pump when we want to fill up, we pay for that. And it's also a good example to set for our staff.
Yeah. Even if our kids, they want a candy bar, they have to pay for it.
Yep, they pay for it, absolutely.
Yeah. The next point we have here is that you have to nurture both relationships. So it's important to ensure that both relationships are thriving, right? Yes. And one relationship should not overshadow the other. One relationship should not be taking so much of your attention that the other one suffers. So it's important to find that balance. And I can tell you that that is definitely not easy. We have not found, I guess the secret sauce.
It's a work in progress.
Or the solution to that. But it's something that you must be intentional about. It's something that you have to draw the line, draw your barriers, know what your goals are, and know what your limitations are. So again, it's just really important to, nurture both of the relationships, nurture that business relationship, and still, we're married, and it's important to nurture the marriage as well.
I'll give a prime example of what she's talking about. We often travel for business purposes, either for meetings or for shopping purposes. And throughout the day, while we're away, throughout the day, we work really hard in trying to ensure that we get the work done or the meetings done. we lift boxes and do whatever we have to do. But at the end of that day, we also plan a date night, you know,
Yes.
plan downtime and dinner and a movie. And as much work as we do, we always take the time and make the time to ensure that we enjoy each other as well. And I think that that helps us in our relationship as well as in the business when we are able to create some sort of balance.
Yes.
Absolutely.
The next point we have is knowing your why. Someone referred to this early on as well, knowing your why and being true to your key. Is that our time? It's key. But knowing your why, that is what is going to keep you going when the times get tough, when the business isn't making the money that you would want to see it making. Knowing your why is what, you know, gets you up early in the morning. It's what pushes you to go that extra 1 or 2 hours to make sure, you know, that things are running and going smoothly. So make sure that your why is big enough to handle and to push you. You know, it shouldn't be something small. It has to be something big that will continue and sustain you in those hard times.
Absolutely. And just to add to what Aisha is saying, you know, since the opening of Long Day Express, we've been fortunate enough to gain the support of the wider community, particularly Long Bay and the entire community of Providenciales. But we've come to realize that our community is really depending on us right now. You know, there are certain things that we must have, certain times that we must have it. Our opening hours, we must be open because there are so many people and other businesses that are depending on the products and services that we offer in order for them to do what they have to do.
Yeah.
So, you know, knowing our why is very important, and that continues to push us and ensure that we continue to follow the right path. Finally, and this is one of the most important, if not the most important thing, in all that we do, we put God first. We seek God in all that we do. We pray together, we fast, we strategize and go to God in prayer for everything before decisions are made. So for us, putting God first is key, and we believe all other things will follow. But that is the end of our short presentation within our time frame, hopefully.
Yeah. So that's us in 10 minutes.
In 10 minutes. Thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Well, Aisha, no, that definitely wasn't a signal that your time had come to an end. Let's just be clear, because
Okay.
We could have taken another 5 to 10 minutes of that. That was absolutely amazing. Put some 4s in the chat. Let them know how much you loved it. The duo, the power couple. And, you know, I've always loved the idea of a power couple, but it's really interesting to see you guys lay it all out. Because we've also always heard that you don't mix business with pleasure, right? So it's it can go in one bag or the next. So I know
it can definitely work.
It can work. It definitely works for us.
So if you, like me, have now been convinced that it can work, and you're thinking to yourself now, maybe I would want to get into business with my husband or wife, drop some thumbs up in the chat to let them know that they've swayed you to start thinking a different way. I look forward to sending some questions your way at the end, so please stick and stay with us. And again, thank you so much for all that you shared. That was beautiful. All right, we're gonna roll right into speaker number 5, who is Melody Smith. She's the founder and CEO of Turks and Caicos Recruitment Group. She has a background in corporate HR with 11 years experience in human resource management. She uses her natural talent to connect with others, and her coaching skills to have an impact in the career development industry. She's an ebook author, she's a John Maxwell certified coach, and she's a member of the Caribbean Society of Human Resource Professionals. And she's gonna share with us 10 golden rules of personal branding. Take it away, Mel.